guys! First of all, notice anything different? I'm trapped in your screen! Ah! Just kidding, that joke was terrible. But I finally made some sprites! I know I've been having a rough time with the look of this channel, but I'm finally settling on some things I like and hope I'm moving in the right direction. Also, even more important, my partner's sister got me a mic for Christmas! So now it doesn't sound like I'm talking to you through a tin can anymore, my gosh! Hopefully all the plosives will be gone too. Jeez, that was horrible. I tried so hard to edit them out, but oh, frick, I'm so bad at that. Okay, anyway, topic. Story tropes. Let's complain about them, because sometimes a good, juicy, big fat rant could be fun and satisfying. I'm gonna kind of maybe be loosey-goosey with the term trope, though. I kind of just want to talk about story things that annoy me without necessarily limiting myself to stuff that's been seen over and over and over again. This first one, though, I can guarantee happens absolutely friggin' everywhere, and it drives me insane. Number 1. I can explain, and then they don't friggin' explain! This is definitely a subset of the, quote, misunderstanding trope, but this particular brand of it drives me up a wall. It's when character A is revealed to have been lying about something or doing some questionable stuff behind the scenes, and their friends find out. They all look at them like, how could you? All betrayed, angry, and character A just wastes time stuttering and shifting around before just eventually giving up and getting left there to stand around all dejected. I swear I always want to yell at the TV like I'm watching someone in a horror movie walk through their house in the pitch dark, because if you have a legitimate explanation, or worse, it really is quote-unquote not what it looks like, say so! I know a lot of the times the other characters will cut them off and be like, save it. First of all, why? Aren't you even a little bit curious of what new information might arise? And second of all, for character A, just blurt it out! If they don't want to hear it, who cares? It needs to be said. And then it's even worse when it's not even a complicated situation in the first place. Sometimes the protagonist was just legitimately backed into a corner or threatened, and it would be completely out of character for their friends to lack so much empathy after knowing the details. For each of these, I'm going to try and give an alternative or a spin on the trope I actually do think works well, or circumstances I think fit a little better, just to balance this out with some positivity. With this one, I think it creates much better conflict if the characters are miscommunicating because they're being pitted against each other. If the antagonist has been sowing the seeds of doubt for a while, so one or both of them believe they have reason to mistrust each other outside of this one incident, that makes a lot more sense than learning one bad thing out of the blue and immediately not giving someone who's been nothing but a friend to you the benefit of the doubt. Number 2. Trans characters who are mind-numbingly boring. Okay, this one sounds really weird and also pretty vague, but I talk about it a lot online in bits and pieces because the nuts and bolts of representation is something I'm really passionate about. Verily, can I say that? Is that gonna... Why do you have a swear in your username? I can't afford to... I can't afford for YouTube to nuke this. I'm so small. Anyway... This person has a great video dedicated to this topic that I'd highly recommend. I hate when I'm watching or reading a story that, let's be real, I probably picked up in the first place because I heard there was a trans character in it, and then it's just really clear the writer overthought them into oblivion. It's more a collection of tropes that, when all put together, makes me as a trans person feel like the true heart and soul of it got lost. It's just so... stereotypically nice and neat to the point of being soulless. A binary trans person who knows their true self from the beginning decides to be brave and live said truth. They tearfully come out to their family with some variation of, this is who I am, I'm trapped in a girl/boy's body, etc., etc. Their feelings surrounding their dysphoria are clear and easy for both of them and the audience to understand. They're perfectly sympathetic in all their responses to this, and there's almost definitely a scene where they stare wistfully at a mirror. And I just want to clarify that this is the way things go for a lot of us, but the lack of variety cheapens it significantly. It feels plastic, like a product. Here's what I want to know. Where are the eggs? Give me my eggs! Fully transitioned at the start is fine and all, but I think it's incredibly important to have characters that audiences truly get to know before learning that they're transgender. If both audience and character discovers this information in tandem after a real connection is established, then it combats the stereotype that our cis family members will always see it coming. Or hell, that we always know. A character who comes out and starts socially transitioning almost first thing in their arc is usually the closest we get to this, but it's not really the same in my opinion. It doesn't have the same kind of cathartic impact that the long game has. I'm not saying by any means that this is the only interesting way to portray the trans experience, it's just something I personally want really badly to see more of. You know those headcanons that a character is trans, gender they present in the show to not that actually have legitimate evidence to point towards? Yeah, that's the kind of storyline I'm talking about, except it actually goes canon. A couple of stories I have seen give the egg some love are Too Bright to See by Kyle Luckoff, and the web series Too Loud, although it had its episodes rearranged in such a way that makes the canon status of it confusing. But the creator has pretty much confirmed the character in question is trans, and the Wikipedia for Too Loud refers to her by her chosen name. And then my latest favorite, oh my gosh, please read Idlewild by James Frankie Thomas. Its depiction of how disorienting it is to be gay when you don't even know that you're trans is so visceral to the point of being uncomfortable. It's pretty much exactly what I was looking for in terms of complexity and lack of instinctual lean towards respectability. Actually, if you can, listen to the audiobook because the acting is phenomenal and makes certain points that you may normally just glance at absolutely gut-wrenching and forces you to linger on them longer. Number 3. Parent clones. Have you noticed that almost every time there's a fictional mixed breed animal couple that have children? Yeah, okay, weird turn, but stay with me here. Oh crap, I lost my place in the script. Okay, yeah, no, weird turn, but it bothers me. Anytime a mixed breed animal couple have children, the daughters are just exact carbon copies of their mother, and the sons are copies of their father. What? That's not how genetics work! What kind of immaculate DNA sorting system is going on in these wombs that make this possible? It's also just boring. Once again, boring. I feel like half the fun of designing children of two different animal breeds is to work out how those two looks will mix. I mean, come on guys, mutts exist. It's not even like artists would be forced to get super weird or out of the box with it if they don't want to. Now, what's a lot more understandable is if the animal characters are just different species altogether. This is usually in stories where anthropomorphic characters living human lives are just part of the world building, and I can see how that could be a slippery slope of plot holes where you start wondering how most of the population isn't just a barely recognizable mash of different animals by now. But still, why does it always have to be father species equals son's species, and mother species equals daughter species? Couldn't at least that be mixed up? Or I don't know, maybe just have it be part of the world building that different animals can't conceive or in either adoption or same species donors or how that's dealt with. That, I don't know, this is hard. I'm sorry. Well, okay, to be fair, it doesn't have to be explicitly spelled out. For example, in Zootopia, you don't see any couples or families of different species, so maybe that's kind of implied. I don't know, man, I'm not a furry. This one's your all's department. Y'all figure it out. Number 4. Breaking up the found family for... I don't even know why. The writers just didn't care about that aspect as much as it looked like they did, I guess. So, this is a part where it's very appropriate to reiterate that these are tropes or visual styles that I don't like, not ones that are objectively bad. For the most part. I've actually seen pretty few cases where this was legitimately bad writing and not just me disliking it on an emotional level. With that said though, when it is done from a place of incompetence in the writer's room, it can yield some of the most spectacularly atrocious results. It can take great characters and just treat them like crap for no reason. Like none of what they went through together even mattered. The most bafflingly wild example I can think of is the swift end to my Super Hulock Dark Ages, the Supernatural finale. I don't even know where to begin explaining this 15-year saga, but this show, I dare say, was one of the blueprints for introducing the found family trope to a generation. I mean, come on! Two brothers going at it alone in this dangerous world of monsters, slowly learning to accept help not just on a literal level, but an emotional one as well, with a select few friends and allies. Truly textbook. By the end of the show, the ones left standing more or less were the brothers, Sam and Dean, obviously, the angel Castiel, and Sam's girlfriend Eileen. Destiel was a massive phenomenon online. I'm not sure if y'all remember, but it was years in the making, and all of Tumblr watched in first joy, then shock, then anger, then low-key insanity, as Castiel's storyline ended with him confessing his love for Dean in order to sacrifice himself, and then no attempt was made to rescue him. It would have genuinely been possible, don't ask how, long story. The writers just didn't think he was important enough. I guess. Eileen's fate isn't talked about as much, but it's just as disrespectful. She basically just never had a proper conclusion in the first place. And Sam is seen married to some mystery lady who looks nothing like her at a flash forward. Except she's a brunette. Maybe, I don't even remember, but I think that's like, she's very blurry. It's clearly probably not Eileen. This is truly pointless to a confusing degree. Why marry Sam off to some fill-in-the-blank woman when he had a girlfriend he clearly was very happy with and who was well-liked by audiences? Never mind that she was disabled, I'm sure that had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was just clear that the writers were refusing to let go of this idea of ending things full circle with just the two of them, despite the found family themes the show actually ended up having. In my opinion, the trope is done well when the family in question stays together emotionally, just not physically. What the hell does this mean? Okay, so two scenarios. One, certain members are deleted from life, thanks YouTube, but it actually makes sense for the story, and they are properly mourned. This is a normal part of life, and it's not like we just forget about our family and friends when they pass on like they didn't mean much to us in the first place. They'll always be together in spirit. Then two, when they do split up of their own volition, it's because they want different things. However, it's made pretty clear that they're still a unit and don't intend to dissolve things altogether. That's the crux of what I don't like, a blasé severing of the emotional bond that seemed so important to everyone throughout the story, and suddenly is discarded with little more than a shrug. Alright, last one. Number 5. Terrible color grading. I don't understand why the overall visual atmosphere of some movies or shows is just so damn ugly. That's so mean, but the most recent thing that probably comes to a lot of minds is the live-action Little Mermaid, because Disney seemed to suck every bright color out of it for no friggin' reason. And it's super obvious when compared to edited screenshots. Actually, you know what? I lied. The most recent widespread color grade related criticism is likely Wicked, but... Okay, can I confess something for a second? I actually don't think it's that bad.
Boo! Boo!
Now, don't get me wrong, it's way too overexposed, but I don't think I'd go as far as to call it ugly or even really washed out to an extreme degree. I just think some more subtle changes than people are making it out to be would suffice. My personal biggest example of this shortcoming is the live-action How the Grinch Stole Christmas. My partner has us watch this every Christmas, and every year I look at them, and I'm like, why is it so friggin' hideous? My best guess is that they were trying to give the camera kind of a frosty look to get the audience into the winter spirit, but it just kind of looks like they filmed Whoville in a hookah bar. Just for fun, here's my own color-graded edit, because honestly, this movie is starting to grow on me. I just wish it was more visually appealing. The instances in which I like this detail are probably obvious, but when the environment is actually supposed to look like that. Or it fits the tone of what they're going for. Something like a movie set in the apocalypse where they're wandering through rotted remains of a grocery store, which, by the way, I want to see more zombie movies where the characters try to loot a grocery store and can't even get inside because it's too much of a biohazard. Go look up Mexia, it's a really gross but really morbidly fascinating story. Or the tone of the movie just calls for it. You can argue that for the live-action Little Mermaid, the ocean really does look like that, but this is also a children's fairy tale adapted from animation. A hyper-realistic view of being underwater in a story about a teenage mermaid just doesn't work. And a whimsical movie about learning the true meaning of Christmas doesn't work when it looks like you're trying to watch it through a cloud of cigarette smoke. I'm sorry, I still can't get over that. Okay guys, that's all I got. Tell me about your trope-related pet peeves in the comments so we can commiserate together. Or if you love these tropes, then make a rousing plea on behalf of your favorite stories. If you like this video, then consider liking this video, you know, like with the button, or better yet, subscribe! Then of course, I always love comments. Also, feel free to make suggestions about what you want to see from me. I actually really appreciate that kind of thing because it helps me get a feel for what I should be trying out next instead of just fumbling around in the dark. Alright, bye!